Hey, how's it going? The most asked question that I get in any comments of any video: how do I overcome approach anxiety? Now, in this video, I'm gonna give you the most comprehensive guide to approach anxiety you've ever seen. There's nobody, honestly, that understands this concept as well as I do and can fix it as succinctly. So in this video, I hope to do that for you. And with that being said, let's get into the video.
Cold as ice, it's a vice. Wish I could kick that bullshit. Yeah, look at my life. I wish they could study me. The word fan means.
Before we actually get into the video, I am actually taking in questions for a live video on Instagram here in the next couple of days. If you guys want to be a part of it, ask me a question in the comment section below, and I'll answer it live on Instagram at denton.fisher. It'll be at 5 p.m. in 2 days' time. Now, when it comes down to approach anxiety, you have to understand a couple things. You have to understand psychology. Now, you have a self-identity, a person that you believe you are, a character. Now, the self-identity is actually fed by your actions. Your actions feed this character all the time. Now, as a young kid, you see maybe a girl that you find attractive. You're afraid of rejection, so what do? You don't approach her. You take an action. This action then has to be fed by an ego that keeps you confident. If you don't approach her, what does this mean about you? It means you're not a creepy guy. It means that you are not somebody that's a tryhard. It means that you are somebody that could get the girl if you wanted, but you're not that kind of guy. You're not a player, so you're not gonna go and try to get her. Now, this compiles over a period of time. Maybe you even see the girl and you think she checked me out, but you don't wanna lose the validation of talking to her. As a lot of you guys know, maybe you guys get a really good reaction with a girl, and then instead of getting her phone number, you bounce because you want the validation. In the same way, you'll see this girl and you'll think, oh, she checked me out, cool. Well, I don't wanna go and talk to her now. I know that I got her. So you feed this ego. Now, the ego is getting stronger as you get older. Now, a lot of you guys get into game, you guys start doing pickup, then what happens? It's impossible to go and approach a girl. Am I wrong or right? It's difficult. And it's because you spent your entire life building this character and ego, which is now very strong. Now you have to start loosening it up. And how do you loosen it up? By taking action, unfortunately. You have to start approaching. You have to start taking actions that break this ego and are painful. Because this thing needs to know that you are not this person that you have been developing it as. Instead, you are an outgoing, extroverted, fun person that can show a sexual, outgoing side. You find a girl attractive, you let her know you're attractive. Now, the second piece to approach anxiety is tribalism. When you're in society, us as a species, we're built to be in tribes of 25 to 50, upwards to 150 at the maximum. You're constantly pinging off the environment, people around you, to see what the culture is. What is allowed, what is the social norm, what is not. How many people in today's society do you see approaching girls they find attractive? Probably none. You probably don't see a guy ever do this. So when you have to do it yourself, there's this tribal link that's telling you you can't go and approach. Now that you know this, now we can go about fixing approach anxiety. Now, the first things first, you have to start building momentum. Momentum is basically where you fight this ego, you fight society, you fight the things that have been holding you here. So how do you do it? 1, you start surrounding yourself with people that approach. You build a new tribe. 2, you can start watching people like me. You can start watching my content, start getting this stuff down. Or you can, hire a dating coach, if you want to, if that's, what you guys are thinking about doing. I'm not opposed to it. Now, next thing you start doing is taking the action. Now, consistency is exactly what you need to do. Going out consistently, because the thing is if you're going out consistently and you're trying to break this ego, it's gonna start loosening up. But if you're only going out 1 time a week and now you're trying to fix approach anxiety, it's tough. Because this ego has 5 days out of the week of all this time that's been building and getting hardened, and you're only giving it 1 day a week to tell this ego, this character of who you are, that you're a different person. It's not gonna happen. You have to go out more consistently than that, especially if you're just starting off in this. So you start loosening up this ego. And now, like I said, this is gonna be the hardest part for you, is loosening this up at first. It's the toughest. But as time goes on, a year, 2 years, 3 years, it gets tenfold easier to unhinge this and fix it. Now, the last thing I'll get into with this is self-lying. Oftentimes, when you don't approach a girl, what happens? You're making an excuse. You say too many people. You say security guard. You say with her mom, possibly as a boyfriend. You say all these excuses that are stopping you from approaching, that are holding you back. Now, if you start cutting these, figuring out what they are and how they're ridiculous, it makes it a lot easier for you to go forward and start approaching. So something I would do is I would take out a small piece of paper, maybe a notebook. Every time I not approach a girl, I write down what was it that made me not approach that girl. And then at the end of the session, I would sit down with myself and ask, why is this one ridiculous? Now, why is this one ridiculous? Now, why is this one ridiculous? And I do this every day. And this helped me out massively. And with that being said, peace out.
Yeah, look at my life, I wish they could study me. The word fan means looking familiar. Know what my own people done to me. Lie my name, put thoughts in my brain. They ain't really had no love for me. Tell the truth, now I wasn't ashamed, but I couldn't let them get under me. Fuck them, it don't get no better. I hold my grudges forever. Hatred so long you can measure. My blessings take longer than others. I'm trying to